What if I told you that one small tweak to your cold email could be the difference between getting ghosted and booking enterprise meetings? Today, I'm breaking down a real cold email from one of my coaching clients in Outbound OS. And look, the email's already pretty solid. There's some really good stuff in here, but there's a few things that are just killing the reply rates. So I'm going to show you exactly what's working, what needs to change, and how you can steal this for your own outreach. You ready? Let's dive in. I'm more of a morning person, which is
Yourself back to Yorkshire.
Oh, mate, I cannot think of anything that I would rather less do. No, I'm joking. I love Yorkshire. Like, I can go back to see my parents and stuff. It's fun, but I could not live where I used to live in Sheffield. Like, oh, it's just, I don't know if I'd be able to do it now because I lived in like not the nicest part or even in the city. I was like out of it in a terrible place. So yeah, I don't know about that. We'll stay here for now.
You got too used to the luxury life, Aaron.
Yeah, I know. Lifestyle inflation's creeping. I need to relax, get back to the roots now. I'm joking. But no, it's I can do it. But cool, let me just get all this sorted. So
I think I imagine that the sessions probably require some level of prep. So I am going a little bit rogue. I just thought for getting back into the sort of rhythm of things, it would just be worth me just joining in one of these calls and just shadowing and seeing how it goes.
to be honest, mate, like there's not much prep. You don't even have to do anything. You can literally just bring a message to it. I don't prep for these because I do it all live on the spot. So this is all like just messaging stuff. So what we normally do, I'll run through it for you because you weren't here last week. So how these flow is number one, all these calls are going to be in the replay vault as well. So like all the old recordings you can watch, it's just here. But I called it the reboot because like we've restarted and we've started doing them again. I forgot to even attach the call recording, so shows how prepared I am from last week. But again, like I do little weird diagrams, which is my new favorite thing to do. I'm not gonna lie. And then I just break down messaging, so we review it, say what I think, rewrite it, get everyone's thoughts as well, because everyone has something to add, go back and forth, and basically just have a little chit chat about Outbound as well. Like sometimes we just go into like little tangents and topics if we feel like people need support on that, I guess. So yeah, that's how these work, and let's hop into it.
No, that sounds perfect. Yeah, doing it on the fly is all good. Like I can just like share emails and stuff as we go in LinkedIn, so it's fine.
Yes. Jason, how are you?
Good. It's early, so I was rushing.
I know. Jason's in Argentina still, is that right?
Yeah, Argentina. Next week, I'll be in Peru, so not too bad.
Me and Jason are linking up in Costa Rica. That's what's happening, boys. So we're gonna have a lovely time there. That's the ideal. But no, let me just get all this sorted from last week, so I'm not being useful. Cool, there we go. So the breakdown calls is there, so you can access this and see them there, which is pretty cool. Like the previous recordings plus all the notes and everything like that. So that's all going to be there. I wanted to run through something really quick as well, because there's been some updates, which is pretty cool. So I am updating the course because number one, like I think a lot's changed since when I first made it, so I want to make it better. And number two, like I'm using a lot more stuff now, so I'm just giving you access to like all the stuff that I'm using. I literally have a call with my like sales team this morning because I have one SDR and I'm hiring two more, so I'm gonna have like 3 SDRs because I'm doing consulting deals. So that's like I want to just run through what I'm using with them. So the first thing what I wanted to talk about was the templates and scripts. There's like an update to this now. Probably gonna have to change the name of this as well. But there's done for you messaging. So before we had some like basic prompts, but it was all scattered, quite vague, not the most in depth. So what we've done is basically just mix everything into one. So now you just have this, which is like the sequence generator, which is updated, but it's all you have to do is copy in the prompt. It's super detailed and it creates a full specific email sequence for you. So you give it the context of who you're reaching out to, like what persona, why you're reaching out, pain, cost of inaction, and it'll create the messaging. If you struggle with this stuff, again, the one above it is the persona matrix. Again, we've gone through it with everyone anyway, but that's where we build it. There's a call script generator as well. So to make your own call script, there's a DM generator to make your own DMs. And then this one's coming like today, which is objection handling, because that ties into the next thing. Before I hop into this, give me 1 second, everyone. Because, yes, Callum, go ahead.
Yeah, and so I think you might have named this, but what is different about that script in the initial example compared to the initial one that you had in there?
Yeah, so the only difference is the script isn't different. It just generates it for your particular offer, your ICP, and creates questions that make sense for who you sell to.
Okay,
that makes sense. So it's the same flow, it's the same pitch framework, but instead of you having to like rewrite the problem statements for each persona or think of the qualifying questions, like what you're going to ask, you just input it in the generator and it creates the full script for you. So it's just like done for you. It's not perfect, but it's a base. So instead of you taking it, writing it, thinking about it yourself, you just use that as the base and then you tweak it after.
Yeah, nice. Okay, cool.
Cool. And this is getting shipped today, which is a new thing on objection handling. So this is going to be part of the operating system under cold calling. We're going to add this today. I'm actually you're gonna see the preview. So this is going to be objection handling, the AIM method. So this is coming today because I've already finished it. So what this is a full breakdown on objection handling. So the framework that I use is I'm going to record a video for this, which will be like an hour long. The 3 different parts of it, final thoughts, and then broken down into categories. So the first 30 seconds of a call, when you get these objections, talk tracks of what to say, like what to do, how do you get past it for all the different ones. And then post opener, when you got past your opener, you get objections, and then also situational ones. So literally every objection you could get is on here. And then what the generator will be for that is you just input your ICP and then it creates these tailored to your ICP and your persona. So this is the base in case you just want to go over it, watch the video on it. But then the generator will create how you can overcome these objections to your solution and go from there.
Do you mean like ChatGPT generator?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just as a base. The reason I use it is like GPT is not perfect, but it's so good as like an initial base to just get everything set. But yeah, you can do it manually, but I recommend like GPT first, then add it on it a bit later.
Do you have you used Gemini? Do you have any thoughts?
I don't use Gemini. I use Perplexity, GPT, and I'm going to try Claude today. I use Perplexity because it scrapes the web better. So if you're trying to do stuff like GPT is good, but it's not that good for scraping, in my opinion. So I think Claude or Perplexity is better for stuff like account research, which is the prompt that I'm going to create soon as well, which is like you just input a URL and then it pulls all the information about the company, like the 10K reports, triggers you could use and all that stuff. I'm going to create that probably today as well. But yeah, I haven't tried Gemini. No, there's so many like Grok and all these different ones. I haven't dived into too many. Go on, Jason.
So at first, my company, they gave us Gemini and I didn't like it. But finally, they gave us ChatGPT and I think you have to test them. But
yeah,
I didn't have good results with Gemini, but also they just released ChatGPT 5.
Yes.
It's not available for me. Like I was doing some coding stuff last night and ChatGPT wasn't fixing my stuff. So I ended up using Claude Sonnet, which is really good for code. So I think a lot of these models, they have free versions. So it's best to just test them out and see what works better for your maybe industry or use case.
They're trying to get us, because we're on Google Suite, they've paid for Gemini Pro. So they're trying to get us to use it, and it has a deep research function, and then you use Notebook to use the Notebook one afterwards. But a lot of us, including like the AEs and stuff, like obviously it's just kind of ingrained to use ChatGPT.
Yeah,
we don't have the pro function of it, so it's just see if there's any feedback on that. But
yeah, I think as well, like I'm gonna create some stuff for this because I think there's some stuff to go over. Like again, I'm gonna create a prompt for like account research. So no matter what you're on, you can just do it and find research. But yeah, that's coming soon, basically. But yeah, that's the updates. I just wanted to run through it because it's being updated as we go. And the actual course has changed as well. Like it's less videos, but they're all longer now. So instead of you having to watch like 52 videos on email, it's like one on initial emails and it's an hour long. Instead of loads on cold calling, it's one and it's everything of what to say. Do you know what I mean? So like again, little update to make it a bit easier to digest. But cool. Any questions on that, or like anything I've just ran through before we hop into the breakdown and go from there?
I think it would just be interesting to find out. I know you mentioned on our last call, Aaron, a while ago around you were using slightly different messaging to what was included on LinkedIn as part of the course. So I'm wondering whether that is something that you're planning to update as well.
Yeah, it is, to be honest. It's on the bucket, man. There's so much like stuff that I need to do. It's a lot, but it's good. So I can run through this because this is like part of some stuff that I'm shipping like ASAP. So this is my like to-dos. I have a lot of stuff, but so one thing is the foundations course. So this is coming again, probably I'm going to try to do it this Sunday, which is a breakdown on like foundations of how to build a system, how to test, how to get data, how to A/B test, how to actually like make it consistent. Going through some like mental models and stuff as well. It's more like just the foundation you need to do it consistently. That's coming. Productivity is getting mixed into one thing. I'm going to create a calendar as well, because a lot of people say, oh, how do you do your calendar? So it's going to be a Google calendar that you can just use, which is like time blocked for you as a rough base. Of course, you don't have to use it exact, but again, that'll be coming. The metrics tracker, so that's going to be a way. A lot of people again say, oh, I don't have tools to track LinkedIn and stuff like that. So I'm going to create a full sheet where you can just input all the information and track it manually so we can get the data to make the improvements. So that's coming as well. And then part of it is going to be messaging. And I'm going to be running through Conda, which is the tool that I use for DMs, because it's incredible. It's like $20 a month and it acts as another LinkedIn inbox. I don't even know if it's going to load now after I've just bigged it up, which would be hilarious. Yeah, there we go. So apparently it's not incredible. But yeah, basically with Conda, you can set lead stages. So leads, book calls, follow-ups, close loss time, and whatever. And then I'm going to be running through like some messaging that I'm using in there. To be honest though, I still do the same cold messaging, but it's more so for like warm messaging. So if like you have people who attend webinars, close loss, shit like that, it's good because it's like, hey, so you attended a webinar, curious, are you already using, I don't know, for me, it's like cold email to book meetings, or are you looking into it? It's basically like A or B questions, and then the full sell by chat flow, which I'm going to be updating as well. So I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah, it's like the outbound stuff's still pretty similar, but it's more so the warm stuff is different, which is what I'm going to be changing.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Understood.
Cool. Anything else before we hop into it? All good? No? Let's do it then. So in terms of messaging, like, ping it me over. Let's go through it. So if you want to like get anything broken down, I'd always say send it in school. Some of you may already have, and I'm just terrible. But no, if you send it in school, just so then that way I can actually copy paste it straight into it and break it down and go from there. So yeah, ping it me over. While you do that, I'm just going to run and get some water. It'll be 2 seconds. Go on, Jason.
Oh, I was going to say with my company now using ChatGPT, they've been able to integrate with like HubSpot and some other of our other tools. So it's going to be really interesting to see what these models will be able to integrate with. I think that will be like one of the big things.
Yeah, that's why I think GPT is just so good, because it integrates with everything. But yeah, I'm just going to run and get some water, but ping me over any messages on the school and we'll go from there. It'll be like 2 seconds.
Josh, did you say that your company's just, I can't remember if it was Jason or you, Josh, has just invested in ChatGPT Enterprise? No?
We have Google Gemini Pro or whatever. They've invested in that instead, because obviously we're on Google Suite, so it just all sinks in.
Yeah, okay. Our company got Enterprise probably like 6 weeks ago, and they've been investing into building different GPTs for things like prospecting, like company level research and things like that. And it is actually really good, like creating company level lookalikes. It's doing like tech stack research and things like that. It is pretty sweet.
Yeah, is it like the deep research function?
No, so like I've not used is it Gemini that has the deep research? Yes.
Yeah.
Can you show me that? Is that available just in the free version?
I'm not sure about the free version. I've never used Gemini before until today, actually.
Okay.
They're really like pushing us to try and get us to use it instead of using ChatGPT. And obviously you have like more functionality if you've got the pro version and stuff, because you get to a certain point in ChatGPT and then it starts saying, oh, you're on the lesser level for responses, aren't you? Or you can't input more slides or pictures and stuff like that. So I haven't actually used the deep research function yet, but if you're on the call next week, I might have. So
yeah, cool. No, it's tricky. There's so many different platforms, and every business is investing in different ones. So it's very difficult to have a sort of like have a conversation between 4 people and create like a plan that's going to work across each of these different platforms.
They all kind of work off the same algorithms, really, don't they? So
yeah, they're similar-ish. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's why I want to create like the account research like prompt thing, which I'm gonna do today, which will be like I'll use it probably. I'm gonna test it on Claude and GPT. If I pay the GPT, I have like not the enterprise one, but the pro. So I don't need the enterprise. It's just me. I'm gonna test it versus Claude, see which one's best, and just go from there. So yeah, that one's gonna be there, but we'll see.
Be interesting to get like a full like prompt sheet of things that you think could be helpful, Aaron, because like I'm picking out stuff like this. Like, I've just chucked it in the chat, or like finding an ideal account would be something like
yeah, that's cool. So like the ideal account thing, this is what I mean where I say it's so different between models, because the normal GPT is like pretty bad for stuff like that, for like scraping and going on the web, because it finds so much outdated stuff. I imagine the enterprise is like good because it's fully up to date. It can scrape websites and pull info and stuff like that. And that's why I'm going to look at maybe going into like testing Claude and comparing the two and seeing which one's like best for different tasks, I guess. But yeah, that's a good idea. So I'm going to add that actually.
I always feel like with ChatGPT, like you have to say like, please use verified customers and stuff.
Yeah.
It was information. Like when I was interviewing for this role that I'm in, like it was giving me like random customer names that it's seen like in for a different company and stuff, but our company had just been like referenced and stuff, and it was saying that it was our customers. So I don't think it's very good at like the scraping type of thing and stuff. You really have to tell it to start giving verifying information.
Yeah, it's not the best.
It just totally depends on like which one. If you're using 3.5, I think it stops at 2022. So that's why I think perhaps if people are using free versions, then something like Claude would be better at, say, like company level research.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So
exactly, yeah. That's what I mean. I'm trying the GPT-5, but yeah, we'll see. That's why I think I'm going to do it mainly for Claude. But cool. I mean, like, I'm not going to lie. I haven't received any messaging. So I'm happy to run this as just like a training session, because I know like Josh, you're just getting started. Callum, you're just coming back. And Jason, like Jason's an OG, Callum, if you don't know as well. Like he's been in the trenches a while, been crushing it for a while, been in here from like through all the different restructures back when it was called like a different name and everything. So I don't know, like if you guys want, I don't know, we can run it as like a Q&A, we can run it as a breakdown on a different topic. Like happy to just run whatever's useful, because if you don't have messaging, then I want to make sure I can deliver whatever you need, what would be helpful now.
I can send it. Sorry, dude. I just hijacked the conversation by talking about AI, which is basically what everyone's talking about.
That's good.
But let's let me share just an example email just to like kick us off. I'm happy to.
Yeah, I should be getting started next week, Aaron. So I should get some accounts and stuff like that. So I'll reach out again for our next call.
Yes, let's do it, mate.
Callum, when you said you were using like ChatGPT to understand their tech stack, like what things were you looking for? Like what types of specific stack?
So say, for example, like for me, it might be that we have a Shopify integration. So actually, this might be quite a good way to start, because I was going to send, I'll send this email to Aaron, and then it will provide some content to the group.
Let's copy paste it. Let's pop it in, share my screen, and cool. Yeah. So do you just run through it, Callum? So I know you're like talking, so you can just run through this, like give us a bit of context, and then we'll go from there. Just explain to the boys what you do, just because obviously they don't know, like I do.
Yeah, sure. So I work for an ad tech platform. So we're like a demand side platform. So we'll allow advertisers to reach highly targeted users across a variety of different channels. So it's basically programmatic, which is something that sits outside of like social media and what we call walled gardens. like Google and Facebook and things like that. So it would be like connected TV, audio advertising through like Spotify, for example, website ads, like mobile ads, these types of things. And then you can do everything from sort of upper funnel awareness through to lower end conversions. And then you can track that user journey. So the product that I'm selling in this instance is like a Shopify integration that, say you're an e-com business, like a fashion brand. One of our integrations with Shopify will allow them to take their first party data and then retarget a user based on Shopify events. So that could be like first time purchase, repeat purchase, or abandoned cart. And then you could target them with a personalized ad that would hopefully encourage purchase. So yeah, hopefully, I don't know, how does that sound to everyone? Is that all making sense in terms of like context?
Was it B2C? Like the product,
B2B
like,
to C.
yeah, you're selling to
Our
the
platform is
selling to the end user.
both B2B and B2C, but in this instance, this example would be to a B2C.
Right. Okay.
Cool. So let's hop into it then. So I'm just going to share my screen and we can go from there. So before I hop into it, like, first off, there's a few things that I really like, but I want to flip it to you boys as well to see what you guys think. I'll zoom in a little bit. Yeah, there's some things what I want to run through, which I think are great, but any thoughts as well from either Jason or Josh? Because I know, Josh, you're still very early. You haven't really gone through it, but you were here last week. I'm sure you've had a little look through stuff. And Jason, like, your thoughts as well. And then I'll break down my thoughts.
I think for an initial email, it just looks a little bit too long. It just looks a little bit too wordy. But the content is good, but for an initial email, you are trying to just get a kind of hook. So, like,
which bit would you say is long as well? Like, are we looking at the same part? Like, would you say is this bit, like, mainly this?
So that is long, but also as well, like the call to action, I would just do worth sharing the case study. But then this bit here, like above your case study for Lombardi, these like 3 sentences, kind of maybe we could mesh them together. But I don't know. That's just based off my initial reading of Aaron's framework and stuff. I am still on board of my own products. So.
Yeah, but I agree with some parts of it. I think like this as well. This looks very breaking up, but on an email, like it doesn't look as bad as it seems here. And I think it's good, right? Because let me just show you. Like it'd be more like this, which makes it a bit easier to read, which is your sort of trigger, like why you're reaching out, and then you have your implication. You know, if you don't want it to look a bit fat, then chopping this into 2 to make it read better. Like I'm okay with this. I think that's okay. It looks, because this is the Notion and I'm on my Mac, so it's like very condensed, which doesn't help with how it looks. It'd be more like this, which is a little bit more. So yeah, I think like the first 3 lines we can get away with. I think that's fine. But yeah, I think with this part, we can hop into that in a moment. But I agree, we can reword a few little bits. But Jason, anything from you before I hop into it as well?
Of course. What is the subject?
Oh, great question. The subject line.
Oh, Shopify acquisition.
Okay. Yeah, so I think the first thing when I'm thinking of like an email is the subject and then like the first sentence for how it looks in like Gmail, how Aaron was showing. So I saw, just on your site and noticed some ways it seems a little long, but like that's why I asked about the subject, because if it's a long subject and then you have just on your site, maybe they're just going to see that and they're like, okay, like, is this something generic? It doesn't tell them, oh, I saw your Shopify pixel. So like,
yeah, and what he means by that is such a good point, is you get 40 characters of preview text. So like this subject line, right, is huge, because this is like Outbound OS, 8 for this many task use, and then it just says hi, and then it cuts off, versus this one, interview, which is what I sent to someone. And then it's like, this time works, and I can read the full preview. Do you know what I mean? So like, that's why your subject line, I really like it as well, which is just, it's short, it's to the point, it's vague, it gets them thinking about what this email is. So yeah, I think this is like a very good subject line, which ties in. So.
Like, I try and just keep it to looking like an internal email.
Yes.
Whatever priorities are.
Yeah, exactly. Get past
Would you
that.
even, Aaron, would you put capitals as well? Or if you kind of A/B tested that?
Yeah, I mean, I've tested it, but a lot of stuff I do as well is based off data, and I like Lavender and Gong. They ran a study. So Lavender is like an email tool. I used to use it a ton. Like I know the founders, they're cool. But the reason I liked it is because they got a lot of data. So it was millions and millions of emails, and they found that on average, title case, so like this, led to a higher response rate, or higher open rate, I should say. People often say, oh, use lowercase, like stuff like this, because lowercase makes it seem internal and stuff like that. It can to a degree, but again, I go based off data. So I'd always say, like, do your own testing to check. But personally, I always just do title case. And in the sequences that I am literally launching Monday, which is pretty cool, my consulting stuff, I'll just show you them as well. Like you'll see is very similar, literally reply rates. Mine looks fat as well because it's very condensed, but yeah, I just do the same title case. Cool.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts, Jason, just before I hop into it as well?
Yeah, I guess when you say leveraging Shopify data, is there tons of different data points with Shopify? Would the user know what that kind of means?
I think it's interesting. There's enough. I think there's enough. So I go on to talk about Shopify event data, for example. So at that point, okay, I'm intentionally not being too specific because it's relevant enough.
I get them thinking.
Again, it's that kind of curiosity poking the bear. I'm reaching out for a relevant purpose, and then they read on.
Cool. Yeah. I completely agree. I think it's great as well. But the reason I love when Jason gives input as well, just for clarity, Jason's like been crushing it. I think he's like top BDR on his team and has been for forever. So he's great, and he really knows like a lot of the stuff we say, which is cool. Like it's ingrained because we've been going through it for so long. But yeah, just some thoughts from me. Like I love the fact that your trigger, we spoke about this, I think, on our call specifically, but you're making it seem more personal with the just on your side, and then talking about the specific pixel that they've done. Again, saying things like was on your LinkedIn, was on your site, and then referencing the trigger shows that you've actually done the research and can make it seem personal and relevant. If you've already done the hard work to go on their website, mention that. So yeah, I love this trigger. Like that's great. I'm not going to say anything about that. Your implication, like poke the bear, as you were saying, again, this is incredible. Nothing really to add here because implication, that's why I never type. Your implication, again, is incredible. You're getting them thinking about the issue without outright calling it out straight away. So again, like this is really good. Typically, media buyers are limited to dynamic retargeting on social media. Again, this is great. Like I really, really, really like this email, by the way. There's just a small tweak at the end. So your pain, again, is very, very good because you're calling out the surface level issue before going the layer deeper. At the minute, they're thinking, oh, but why is that bad? And then we move into the cost of inaction. So again, like this is great, then which means you miss out on tons of ways to re-engage Shopify users and improve ROAS. I really like this again because you have a strong COI. The COI, like now you're showing how it makes it harder for them to hit their KPIs and hit their number. So this directly ties to their goals. The one thing we could maybe add is talking about, and again, maybe using ChatGPT Enterprise to do the research for this to find the stats, would be how bad their ROAS becomes by just keeping it dynamic, or what it typically is and what the improvement can be by doing it the other way. Does that make sense? So it's sort of like, which means you miss out on tons of ways to re-engage shoppers, and ROAS can be limited to 3x. Fashion brand, this increased their ROAS by 15 billion% or whatever number we have here. Do you get what I mean? So like if we could have a stat here, again, I know it's hard to find these stats, but with GPT, you can do it. You could just find it from an article and reference it. Like that's fine to just use a number. And if the ads just send in the article, I use GPT for all mine, which is like in my sequence, in the initial email, what I talk about is, so this is for leaders who've downloaded like my shit and my resources. I literally talk about struggling to get 1.5x pipeline coverage and hit the team's number. Like that's my specific metric that I use. And I just pulled that from GPT. So you don't have to be like perfect with this stuff. You can get away with being a bit more vague. But yeah, I just think a number makes it more tangible. I know I'm like banging through this, but any questions on this as I'm talking about it? But these first lines, I really, really like. Like that's just a nitpick about the improve, like use a number there, but I really like this so far. So like any questions before we hop into it or the... Okay, cool. So, right. Now we're on to the social proof. So again, Callum, you're going to get blessed to see Aaron's incredible art skills. Do you know what? I got an 8 when I was in like year 7. So I got it for a reason.
Highlight of my week last week.
Honestly, if you just say, I'm sorry, I just need to get this drawing up. This was the single best. Oh, wrong place. The single best piece of art I have ever done. Look at this. Sell the destination, not the plane flight, Tilmar. But no, right. So for this, right, when we're talking about social proof, we always use BAB, which is like before after bridge. So how we want to frame it is, where are you right now? And then where's the desired outcome? So this is like current situation, so before, and then this is the after. The bigger the distance between these, like the more desirable the solution, because it's a bigger transformation. So if I can go from here all the way to like over here, then this is like a way bigger transformation. So I'm more willing to invest or make it. So with this, when we say a number, like increase ROAS, from 3,000 to 18,000%, right? That makes it hard for me to understand, like, where is this after? Because like here is like 3,000, which is still great, like 3x, let's just say. And then here is like 18x, right? So it's up to me to understand, like, you put in a bit of friction in my head because I'm not clear on where I'm going to. Like, I'm not clear on the destination. You're like selling me on the Maldives, but then also being like, they went to Jamaica as well. And I'm like, well, where am I going? Like, it makes it a bit confusing. And because the numbers are so big as well, it can come across a bit like, we'll help you billion extra leads. Do you know what I mean? So like, I don't know, in this case study, is it more specific? Like, is there a specific case study where it's like improve ROAS by this much percent or by made this much more through ads? Do you get what I mean?
That is the case study. So we were working with them 12 months prior to this, and they were already at 3,000% ROAS, which was strong. But when we implemented this Shopify integration, they jumped to 18,000. So it was
I get what you're saying.
It was like 6x what they were already.
Did you not put that in 6x?
Totally.
I was thinking of 6x as well.
Yeah, and again, like, as much as you've explained that and now it makes sense, your prospect could be like me. They could just be a bit thick and northern, and they might not get, no offense, Josh, joking. But you get what I mean? Like, they might read it and be like, wait, what? Are you trying to say you increased it from, I see what you mean now, where it says increase from 3,000 to 18,000. But if I'm just like looking through it and I see those big numbers, again, it just adds a bit of confusion. So I think like increase ROAS 6x, like that's very simple. It just makes it flow a bit easier. So I'd probably do that as my line. And then from here, like everything you were talking about with the idea of curiosity and everything is so good, because that's how it works. Like, it's how do we make it curious enough to, get someone to respond? Because the more like intrigued they are, the higher the chance they're going to actually respond to us. So with your solution, like using our direct Shopify integration, which allows e-com brands like this to retarget users based on this, which does this, which does this, which does this. I get why you're trying to do it, because you're trying to give the context. But the whole goal is to get them excited enough about where they're going to, not how they're going to get there. So you're lucky, Callum, because you get to see Aaron's incredible drawing again, which is we need to focus on selling the plane flight, not the destination. So like the plane flight is the technical stuff. It's the, retarget users based on Shopify's event data, like first time purchase, repeat purchases, abandoned cart, which does program into 120,000 sites and apps. And we don't need all of this. You can just chop it down a little bit. So maybe something like which allows e-com brands to retarget users based on Shopify's data, Shopify's event data. And then when they respond, because they're like, wow, this 6x thing seems interesting, I'd love that. And you're telling me I can get it because you're retargeting users by using our solution to retarget users based on Shopify's event data. If we could help you increase your ROAS through retargeting, would that be worth a chat? And again, this is like two different CTAs. You can A/B test it, but this is like the value prop one, which is like, if we could help you do this thing, would that be worth a chat? Or you could just do the classic, like, you know, think this could be worth a conversation. But what I'm trying to say is this is the more important thing, because this is where they're going to. This is like their destination, their desired outcome. So the social proof equals desired outcome.
Yeah,
and the solution is just a mechanism.
Too eager to disclose how the mechanics of how it works.
Exactly. Because again, the solution is just a mechanism. Like, people don't really care about the technicality of the mechanism. They just care about where they're going a lot of the time. That's why the whole like phrase, you know, sell the destination, not the plane flight. When you're thinking about a holiday, you're not there going, oh, I can't wait to get on my Boeing 2327 with extra leg room on my window seat and get my awful meal that's probably going to give me diarrhea on the plane. Like, you don't really care about this. You care about this, which is going to be on the beach, sipping coconuts. You know, I would get brown, but right, here we go. Your little coconuts. That's what you want. I don't know why it's so thin, it's annoying me. But yeah, like, that's what we want to sell, is this part, which is where are you going to, not how you're going to get there. Because the point, as you're saying, like in the start of the email, you're building this curiosity, you're getting them excited. We don't need to over explain here, because the goal of the email is to sell the call, and on the call is where you sell the solution, you sell the technicality of how it works, because you can go back and forth, get exactly what they want, and then explain how you help them get there. Do you know what I mean? So like, again, in my email, which I'm using again to sales leaders, I'm just saying, with our consulting. I'm not saying with our consulting where we implement a 6-week training program and have live calls, asynchronous Slack support, and go through back. Like, I don't say all that stuff, because it seems like more friction, because it seems like a lot of confusing terms or words. Like, just keep it brief, get them excited, and then on the call is where you sell the extra part. But overall, this is an incredible email. Like, very, 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 very good. I think this is super strong, but it's just the end. Go on, sorry.
It just like, if you look at it as well, like, it's now like there's not loads of like, it's too like big paragraphs and stuff. It just, for me now, looks better. But maybe I thought the top bit, maybe it was just that one big paragraph of the social proof that was like putting me off a little bit. But like, if you look at how this is worded now, like, what did they say? Like between 100 and 125 words. Like, it reads better for somebody to quickly just like scan over, and it's got all the relevant like information for them to spark curiosity.
Yeah. And literally that's all that changed. Like, this is the exact same as what you already did, like the first paragraphs. The only difference is the last 2 lines. And if you want to include this as well, you've been trying to reach the EMEA team, or even like with the case study being like, if you want to do that as your CTA, I think that could be great as well, which is like, mind if I share the case study of, you know, company name. Like, you can do that as a CTA. That's fine. Like, that's a good CTA. But this bit, I don't love saying like, I've been trying to reach your EMEA team, because that sounds like you've been trying to reach out and you've been getting ignored. So why would I respond to you? Do you know what I mean? It's like if I'm trying to, call a pretty lady, and if I'm like, oh yeah, I've been trying, and I'm reaching out to a friend, I've been trying to reach your friend, they're going to be like, oh my God, is this guy a crazy person? Like, what do you want? Do you know what I mean? You come across a bit like, I've been trying to reach them, but they haven't responded. So I probably wouldn't add that there. And that's why I'd just flip it to a simple CTA. Like, mind if I share a case study of how social proof got this result. But yeah, just this bit is the only thing that was making it look super wordy. It's just chopping it down to keep it brief, get them excited. Then on the call is where you can get into all the nitty gritty stuff.
Yeah, gotcha. I think there's perhaps like there's always this like reservation with what we do, that we have to at least say that we do programmatic so that they actually understand. So perhaps you can still communicate that. Literally by saying that word once.
Yeah. So, add it in using our programmatic. You can change solution as well to whatever you want. Like, our programmatic tech to retarget users based on Shopify's event data. Like, just, of course, like I always say this, your ICP better than me. There'll always be like certain nuances or words that you'll have to add. But yeah, like if you need to say specific words, say it, but try to keep it as brief as possible because you just want to get them interested and go from there. But overall, as I said, great initial email. I'll just add some thoughts here from me. Like super strong CTA, not CTA, fuck's sake, I always mess up. Super strong trigger, super strong implication, great call out of a pain, great cost of inaction. The only thing that I would maybe change is how we position, number one, the social proof and how they got to that result. But overall, yeah, I love this as an email. It's great.
Thanks, guys. No, that was really helpful to have that breakdown. Thanks, mate.
Oh, no worries. Any other like questions on that, thoughts on that before we hop into some other bits and pieces, I guess?
I have something related, but like, how do you check if they have the Shopify pixel? Do you use a tool or do you have to like manually look at it?
Asking you, Callum, like with the Shopify
pixel. I was sending a message to Aaron. What was the question?
So you talk about seeing the Shopify pixel on their website. Do you use a tool or do you have to like do research or do you look at the actual code of the website?
Yeah, just press F12 on the site and then Control F to search it out.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I think I've kind of mentioned this to Aaron, but I've created my own tools that will just like search a domain and look for what they're using in their site.
It's like built with and things like that.
So I use, and Aaron uses it well, NAN, where
NAN is crazy. It's so good.
So I do WordPress, so I look for like plugins. I have a tool that looks for their host. But then there's also tools like Replies and Built With.
Yes,
I don't know if they show that specific one.
I think Built With is mostly the one that that we'll use.
Yeah, that's what we used to use.
Yeah.
I haven't tested the other ones too much, but yeah, Built was pretty decent. It's good at what it does for the basic stuff. But no, cool. Let's hop into the second one then as well.
What's the difference with that version that you were talking about just then? What will be the benefits of using that one?
So are you saying Built With or Weaponizer?
So you mentioned that you use or have built a tool. So I'm just wondering what would be different about that tool versus say like a Built With.
Yeah, so mine, there's a lot of noise in those other tools. So I know what I'm looking for, but also these tools don't pick up our competitors very well. And I kind of know the signatures. So I look at like who is information, IPs, DNS records. So I think I'm better at detecting stuff. And then eventually, if I wanted to, I could always push them into like Aaron's frameworks. So say if I saw this information, I could always throw it into like ChatGPT and do a message.
Okay. Is there a way that I can have a look at this tool and just have a little play around with it?
So it's called NAN. I'll throw it in there.
Yeah, that would be perfect.
Man, NAN is crazy. I have set up, oh my God, as well. Like if you think, do you know when you're saying, Callum, oh, am I going to talk about the LinkedIn stuff I'm doing now? If I added this to the course G's, this would be like mind blowing. And I want to do it, but what it is, go on, sorry.
I feel like you should start building your tools, like add more stuff with this, because you
know what? Like, it's true. I'm rebuilding my website, which should hopefully be live next week, which is cool. And on there's going to be a thing that checks people's tech stacks as recommendations. But this is my LinkedIn operating system. If we really want to talk about like using tech, which looks like what is happening, right? So what this does is I use Unipile to pull a webhook from LinkedIn. I pull all my connection requests, push them through code into a sheet. It checks if I've already connected. And then I use ChatGPT to score the person, see if they're an ICP fit. If they're a fit, they get logged and they get messaged, and then they get followed up as well, which is 3 follow-ups. And if they're not a fit, they get declined. So that's one. then just to show you what this looks like it actually works as well, which is nuts. I send about 200 messages a day through LinkedIn with like no risk, which is ideal. My LinkedIn, this is mine. I have it on like this tool called Disable, which is called Social Focus, because I hate like news feeds and stuff, but this is what normal LinkedIn is, I guess. So let me have a look. I don't know. Let me try to find one so I can actually show you. Yeah, like this. Hey, Christopher, thanks for connecting. Here to learn more about good meetings or just doing this. And that's what this has done. So it does it for reps and leaders as well. So yeah, it's a bit confusing, but basically it scores the people and then actually sends the message as well. So it does this like every 2 minutes it's check-in. I have one that does all my profile viewers, the exact same. And then I have one which does people who engage with other influencers. And then it says, so like Sarah, you know, or like Giulio Segantini, do you know the cop? Hello, it's a cold call. Do you want to throw it out the window? He's so funny. Like, I love him. But like people who engage with his stuff, because all he talks about is cold calling, I then message the person. So like if a CRO is like 10 of these posts, I'm like, hey, Callum, notice you've been checking out some content on LinkedIn at the minute revolving cold calling. Curious, is your team already using? And then I start the chat like that. So yeah, this would be crazy if I build it. But none of these are like outbound, they're more warm, intense signals. So yeah, you could use this for inbound. Like, I could just build this and add it, which would be cool, which people can run. But I want to build a tool for outbound as well, which is like you just set up a list or trigger and it just does it. So yeah, that's long-term stuff. But
so is this is this like an orchestration type?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
workflow building. It's like code stuff, but not code. It's like no code, basically. That's what I'd say. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if that's right either, Jason. Correct me if I'm wrong.
So yeah, Aaron, did you do that all yourself?
Hell no. I paid my Nigerian brother off Upwork $200, and I was like, my guy, legend. I love him. He's sick. He's in my Slack. He's part of my team now.
So yeah, I'm not saying anything against Aaron, but like there's a lot of people out there that build this stuff, and there's actually tools that you just type in a prompt. And actually, I think Claude is good at NA and workflows.
Yeah.
So you could just type in, hey, give me a JSON file, which is the format, and it will give you something. But yeah, if you want to talk about this more, maybe we should start something in the community. Because I feel like we could be talking about this for hours.
There's a lot. But as well, like this is very technical. So like I can tell Josh, you're just like, what on earth have you just shown me? Like what the fuck is that?
So what you have just shown is basically a non-enterprise version of what my company does. We are an ETL tool. So like
there you go.
It's super technical. I've currently gone through 4 weeks of onboard and have no idea what I'm talking about.
No, but that's it, right? And whenever I bring something in, my whole goal, and that's why I'm making updates and adding stuff to the course, I want to like eat complexity for you all, and like I want to eat the confusing stuff so you just get to execute. So what I want to do is when that's ready, like I'd make another one for outbound, and it's just you just input your ICP into the thing and it does it for you. So you don't have to think about building it or all that. Like it's just here it is. You can use it if you want. So yeah, that's like long term to do that, but it's part of it as a maybe. We'll see. But yeah, let's go back to it. I know we have a few minutes. Go on. Were you going to say something, Callum? I felt like I just cut you off there.
No, I was just going to say. So what's your involvement with this NA? And is this Jason? Is the business you work for? Is this?
No, it's just
he just loves it.
Amazing.
Oh,
It's an amazing product. I will sell it for free. I make no money.
I think when you mentioned it, now I've brought it up. I basically did like an AI audit of myself using ChatGPT, and it came up with this. It came up with this. It was like, oh, maybe you could use this, or so I have seen it before. It looks interesting. It's just an absolute rabbit hole, all this stuff.
And that's the issue, and that's why, like again, like Clay's great, but the reason I don't talk about it is because it's so confusing. Do you know what I mean? Like, eventually, I'm going to build stuff in Clay, which is just tables, which you can just copy paste, which is a table where you input your CSV of your files, and it just tells you all the information you want. Like, that's where I want to get to with stuff, because yeah, the more confusing it is, the harder it is to do. And it's all about like trying to keep it as simple as possible. That's why I don't talk much about like the crazy tech and stuff that I'm using, because it's just like Yeah, I don't even have. I literally don't know how it works. Like I paid a guy. If it broke, I would have no idea what to do. So I don't even involve myself, which is why I had to talk about it. But no, yeah, let's hop into this then. So as a whole, like we get one thought, I guess, from like Jason, from Josh, if you have them, and then let's break this one down as well.
Oh, good.
No.
What's a DSP?
Right.
It's so that's our platform, like the ad tech platform. Yeah.
But they get that language as well. It's like an industry term, right? Like it's not.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, they understand the abbreviation. It's all good if we don't know. What you do?
Seems fairly good. I can't pick out anything too quick.
Exactly, and that's
basically. This is the improvement we made to the last one. I don't understand. Yeah, like you've already done what we've talked about.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like this, and again, like what echoing what Jason said, nothing much to pick. This one has the improvements that we spoke about in the last one. I literally completely agree. Like you've kept the open and grey, which is you're talking about, was just on the site and saw your campaign for Grand Seiko. Funny, that was my first watch, sent it back after like 3 days. I didn't like it. And then, not even kidding. And then we have the pain. So usually agency teams struggle with limited scale as current challenges and targeting maxes out. So we have pain, but this is surface level. So 60% of marketers cite audience exhaustion as the limit in sales growth. Okay, cool. So now we have COI. This is actually why should you care? So you're showing that, okay, if you keep doing this, then you're going to limit the growth because that's what most people say. One thing that we could maybe say is like, if you're talking about limited scale as current challenge, teams struggle with limited scale as current channels and targeting max out. Yeah, like this as well. This is more maybe of like a surface level pain where you're talking about, usually, 60% of marketers cite audience exhaustion as the limit in growth factor as they struggle with scaling current channels, which means sales velocity can drop by. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that, like talking about the sales growth side is more of a cost of inaction than this, because this is a stat to support the pain, but it's not a cost of inaction in itself. It's like, yes, it's limiting sales growth, or by how much even. Even if you had a number in here, by like limiting sales growth and capping out at, X amount, like a few $100,000 or $1 million, whatever they're at. So again, if you had a number, maybe make it better, but I am really trying to nitpick because there's not much else to say. Luxury watch manufacturer. Yeah, go on, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, with that 60% marketers site, that was using ChatGPT to research, and it was just a case of being like, like this is trying to get it to find the exact stat that I need. It's just going to be like,
something's better than nothing. Yeah, exactly. Like it's not worth. It's diminishing returns to like over refine and spend an hour trying to find a stat than it is to just email another 10, 20 people, right? Yeah. With stat adapts program.
What would you actually? Let's stay with that just briefly. What would you have changed it to out of interest? If you could find the perfect stat here, what are you looking? What would be the kind of thing you'd be looking for?
Yeah. So usually, what I'm trying to think of is how I'd merge these two together, which would be, because you're basically saying that you struggle with scale and targeting. So then 60% of marketers say that audience exhaustion is why it's limited. So maybe something like, most teams get limited with scale, and 60% of marketers cite audience exhaustion as the limiting factor in sales growth, meaning that sales velocity can be stuck at 1 million ARR and feel impossible to break past. We help Social Proof push to 3 million ARR, increase sales growth by 25% with blah, 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 blah.
I see what you mean. So basically, it's so surface that you'd combine the two.
Yeah,
you're just deleting one.
And because like this is the desired outcome, like increasing sales growth, which is what you're saying here, like limiting sales growth. So ideally, I'd try to just have some sort of stat in the cost of inaction about the limit of sales growth. Do you know what I mean? Or being like, being stuck at only 20% of revenue coming from ads. We helped Social Proof increase their sales growth by this much with blah, 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 blah. Like either they're stuck at this revenue goal, they're stuck at this percentage of revenue from these channels, etc. Like some sort of number about the sales side specifically would be ideal, because that is what the whole pain is about. Like that's the big cost of inaction, the sales growth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
And then the social proof, again, like if I had ideal stuff, would be, if I'm talking about ARR here, I'm talking about how we helped people increase ARR. So if you're talking about sales growth here, then again, before I would just use some sort of, negative with sales growth, like, stuck at 15% through ads or whatever. But yeah, that's just me, again, really nitpicking, but I think as a whole, it's pretty good. So I'll just add that at the 2, and I'll add a little comment in a minute. But the rest of it, we stack at that programmatic platform via CTV and sequential display retargeting strategy across premium publishers. Again, maybe it's a little bit wordy, like programmatic platform, because the terminology, I get they know it, so they're not going to be as like thick as me when it comes to the specific wording of things. But I always just think, like, how can you make it seem as easy as possible for them to understand? So like with StackAdapt's programmatic platform for retargeting, to improve their retargeting strategy. But if this stuff works, keep it. But yeah, I just think, how can I make it as easy as possible for their retargeting strategy?
Yeah, okay, that's perfect. Chaps, I'm just flagging. I'm going to have a call with a client in like 1 minute, so I'm going to have to hop off.
Yes, no worries, mate. I've got one as well. But yeah, been a pleasure. Appreciate you sending these over. I'll just break this down a little bit and then wrap up.
Perfect. Right, thanks, Aaron. Cheers, guys. Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
nice
to see you.
Bye-bye.
See you next week, Aaron.
Yeah, see you soon. But yeah, I'll just add this in really quick. So the surface level pain is good, but we just need a specific cost of inaction, then go from there. The more specific, the better. But yeah, it's about everything. Cool, man. I have to fly because I have a call in a minute. But how was that, man? I love asking you these questions as well. You always pick when I ask you for some feedback, so I appreciate it, man.
Definitely. For your guy that you used for NAN, can you send me his details?
Yeah, of course.
Because I do my own NAN stuff, but like the projects I'm working on are like insanely complicated. Like I spent like 7 hours last night troubleshooting stuff that I'm like, okay, on some stuff it may be good to have a resource if I want it.
Yeah, I'll send him over. He's from Nigeria. He's great. He's called Audit, and he did as well. It's crazy. Like I'm building a chatbot for LinkedIn, which is like an AI SDR, which is interesting. That's very counterintuitive, but I think. But no, it's mainly for like B2C stuff, answering questions. So that's getting built. But yeah, he's great. I've sent you his profile now. Yeah, again, like I just worked with him on a project basis. I was like, I'll pay you this much to build this stuff. What do you think? He said, yeah, I'm with it. He come in with like a crazy high price. I was like, I'm not paying that. I'll pay you this much. And he was like, cool.
I mean, how much did he say?
I think it was like, he said like 2K at the start for like 7. He built a lot, to be fair. He built like 8 different models, probably more. And he saved me a lot by building them. But I was like, there's no way on earth I'm paying you 2K. So we agreed on like, I think it was $950 for everything, which is like, he built me an email one, multiple, a LinkedIn chatbot, chat message, a lot of stuff basically. So, but I think it'd be like 200 for like one thing, which is cheap.
Okay, that's not bad.
But yeah. Cool, man. Well, it's been a pleasure. I have to fly as I have a call. But any questions, ping me. If not, we'll chat soon, okay?
That was good. Talk to you later.
All right, man. Speak soon. Bye. So yeah, that's basically it. The email was already good. We just needed to tighten it up a bit. And again, the big thing here is to not over-explain your solution in that first email. Sell them on where they're going, not what's going to get them there. Save that for the first call. But look, if you're struggling to book meetings consistently, or you just want a proven system that actually works, and you're a BDR, an AE, selling software, SaaS, or technology, we're going to help you book at least 50% more meetings in the next 60 days inside our program, Outbound OS. And if we don't, we will refund you and work with you for free until you get there. So if you want to see how it works, book a call below and we'll walk you through the exact program step by step. Either way, I hope this helped, and let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll catch up with you soon.